Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining the Security Awareness Show. My name is George Doyen. I will be your host for this show. And today is the media edition of the show, and we specially welcome all of you. Please kindly share the link and then ask your colleagues to join to benefit from whatever that we'll be doing today. I already have my two guests in the studio with me already in the person of Mr. Gabriel Ametame, a cybersecurity specialist, and Madam Timmy from Nigeria, a cybersecurity advocate, also a cybersecurity engineer, she'll be giving us the perspective of what we're discussing today from the Nigerian angle. Before we even start the show, today's show, we are focusing on cybersecurity threats in Africa with specific focus on phone hacking and safety. So some of the topics that we're going to be handling today, we'll talk about the vulnerabilities within your mobile phones and then how cyber criminals can easily access these vulnerability and penetrate, eavesdrop on your conversations. So we talk about the mode. We also will look at how to detect if your mobile phone has been hacked or is being eavesdropped by someone else, even a family friend, a loved one, or someone else, and probably even at a larger extent, if government agencies are spying on you. Then again, we also will look at how to prevent these things from happening, prevent our devices from being compromised. And then finally, we will talk about cyber intelligence system that currently being procured by government all over the world to eavesdrop conversations and to probably pick data from innocent citizens' devices. And so, right after that, we have our expert coming in to share uh, other views with us. So, kindly invite a colleague, a friend to join the show as we begin. So I'll start by introducing the show because today is the maiden edition. So the Security Awareness Forum is a weekly online program designed by the Doyen Institute of Intelligence and Investigation to arm you with enough information to safeguard yourself within this criminal environment. Our focus is specific to the continent of Africa, and it means that we're broadcasting this not on a TV station, but rather on a dedicated social media channels where all of you, your family, your loved ones, your colleagues at work can always go back to watch them. So you can always, if you haven't done that yet, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and then our TikTok account as well. These are the three dedicated platforms that you have these videos and audios and other materials being put there for you to learn from. So the show is entirely dedicated to all of you by showing you how criminals operate within the continent of Africa and then giving you the safety or the tips to mitigate some of those threats that will be posed by these criminals. And another segment will be speaking to the experts. So you would probably will hear from somebody in your country. So for today, we'll be hearing from Miss Timmy from Nigeria. Our next session, we're going to have an expert from South Sudan, Juba, to join. Then the next one, we're going to have someone else from a different country, a specialist from a different country, to also communicate with us from that country perspective. So without wasting time, let me now take you through the presentation. Then after the presentation, we have our two guests joining us for a quick interview. So welcome to the studio, Ms. Temi from Nigeria and then Mr. Ametame from Ghana. You are live with your audience, but for the moment, I am going to take you, silent you while I do the presentation. Just after the presentation, then we can have our conversation.
That's fine. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so today's presentation is on cybersecurity threats in Africa with specific focus on phone hacking and safety. So for countless years, a lot of devices has been compromised. A lot of devices have third-party applications installed on it where we have cyber criminals eavesdropping on conversation, taking pictures, listening to your audio conversations around you. In fact, it is the data available today to all of us is amazing. Why? Because year in, year out, there is an increase on the number of devices that has been compromised over the years. And I'm speaking about phones that are being hacked, laptops that are being hacked. Today, we are only focusing on phones. So my communication will be on phones. If you look at the statistics right from 2020 to 2024, you can see the increase from 1.2 million devices that were compromised down to 2024. We have 2.8 million mobile phones that has been compromised in terms of hacking. And so it's a very topical issue for us as security professionals to bring to your attention and therefore give you certain amount of solution to mitigate these threats. Like I mentioned earlier on, we're going to handle four topics out of this. The first one, we're going to talk about the modes of hacking, how these cyber criminals are able to do this. Then we'll talk about how to detect that your phone has been compromised. Then we'll look at preventive measures. And then finally, how to restore a phone that has been hacked. Modes of hacking. Now, one of the ways that cyber criminals are able to hack phones is through Wi-Fi. Now, what happens is that when you are connected to a public Wi-Fi or a Wi-Fi that is not yours, I may use an example for the airport. So, for example, if you go to the airport and you're connected to a public Wi-Fi, okay, they are vulnerability because the owner of the Wi-Fi is the only person that may be able to access what we call a major vulnerability space. What it means is that once you're connected to my Wi-Fi, I have access to the Wi-Fi. The background of the Wi-Fi belongs to me. I'm able to tell all the devices that are connected, and I'm able to access those vulnerability, and then now install things on your phone or extract things from your phone without you noticing. My Usually for me, when it comes to public Wi-Fi, especially for those of us who go to public places like the airport or a cafe, or let's say, for example, you go to KFC or you go to any of these popular restaurants to eat, we all want to feed on the free Wi-Fi. But I want you to know that behind the Wi-Fi, there are vulnerabilities that these people can exploit to mine data from your device. So using this Wi-Fi, we have two ways that these can be done. It is through the man in the middle attack and the rogue access point. The man in the middle attack, so attackers intercept data between a device and a public Wi-Fi network by creating a fake Wi-Fi hotspot. So, for example, you come to Doyen Institute of Intelligence and Investigations, and there is a Wi-Fi by name Doyen Institute. Now, what the cyber criminals do is that they create a different hotspot by that same name. So you come to campus and you think you are connecting to the Doyen Institute legitimate Wi-Fi, secure Wi-Fi, but what you're rather doing is that you have connected to the fake Wi-Fi, which then give them the access to easily do whatever they have to do behind the scene. And so it is very important that when you're connecting to Wi-Fi's, you need to find out if these Wi-Fi's are quite secure. Another way is that cyber criminals are able to hack your devices and eavesdrop on your conversations, see your screen, is by using spy apps. These spy apps can come in two forms, but I think that let me speak to you from a ground perspective or from a grassroots perspective. Spy apps are readily available even on Google Play Store or iOS. How? You can easily go to the Google Play Store as we are speaking, as I'm talking to you now, and download some of these applications. They are called parental control apps. Yes, they are dedicated spy apps that you can find on the internet, but at the same time, we have what we call parental control app. The parental control apps, it is the reason why it was created was so you could monitor your children who are not of age yet, to want to know exactly what they are doing on their devices, what they are doing on social media. So the parental control apps allows you to monitor your children. So what happens is that you install a parental control app on your children's phone, then you also install one on your phone. Whatever you target on your children's phone to monitor on your phone or on your laptop, it is easy. So if you choose on their phone that you want to be able to monitor their social media account, you want to be able to monitor their phone calls, you want to be able to monitor their phone screens, you want to be able to monitor their web browser. Whatever you target on their phones, the parental control app allows you to see. So when they have a call, you check the app on your phone, you see the call. When they take a picture and you've targeted that this camera side, you are going to have it. Some of the parental control apps even allows you to on your children's microphone, phone microphone, to listen to the environment. Some of them also allows you to take a video, a picture of the environment they are in. So these are legitimate apps that it's actually on all the Google App Store or the iOS, and it allows you to do this. But at the same time, these particular apps can be used for different purposes for monitoring you. I am not saying that if your uh, boyfriend, girlfriend, or a relative or a loved one get you a mobile phone, you should be scared. And for that reason, probably that person might have installed some of these things on it just to eavesdrop on you. I'm not saying that, but if that is your interpretation, it's fine. Again, let me also be quick to say that sometimes these applications, when installed on your phone, you may not be able to see it. It can take a shape or it can clone other devices, other applications on your phone. For example, there are some parental applications when you install on your phone, it can take the shape or yes, the shape. It can come in the form of a calculator. So you might see it as a calculator, you might see it as a camera. So when you begin to see, let's say, for example, okay, a double calculator on your phone, that's where you should be suspicious. Then again, another means through which your phone can be hacked is when you physically hand over your phone to someone. For example, if I want to penetrate into your phone, I must have access to your phone. And when you give me the phone, there are two ways that I can do this. I can decide to install the spy apps on your phone. If I know your password, I go to the Google Play Store or the internet, download, install, and I just need a code from there and I hand over your phone to you. And I can do all these just in 3 minutes. Now, the other means is again having physical access, but this time around, I'm using a hardware to program your device. So the hardware, I will set it into the phone within a matter of 2 to 5 minutes. I can reprogram your phone, reroute the device, and whatever I target in there, I would be able to recover it digitally at the other side that I need it from. Then again, other methods you should be looking out for is phishing. So we have SMS phishing and we have email phishing. The SMS phishing is where, let's say, for example, that I'm hoping to mine data from uh, Lesidi's mobile phone, and I have Lesidi's mobile number. So therefore, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to send an SMS to Dr. Lesidi, and I'm going to say that Dr. Lesidi, you have congratulations, Dr. Lesidi, you have earned a 40% discount to study with Doyen Institute of Intelligence and Investigation. Click on this link to register. Now, the message can even appear to be coming from Doyen Institute with the Doyen Institute branded at the top. You are likely to click on it because Doyen Institute is a legitimate organization and you know them. So you are likely to click on the link, but the moment you click on the link, that is it. Your device can be compromised. The same way with email phishing. And I think the best person in the world that does the email phishing best is Hash Poppy from Nigeria. And I'm sure when Miss Temi comes into the show, she might give us a background to that as well. So that is the same thing being done for the SMS can be the same thing being done for the email, where email can be sent to you, but there are phishing links embedded in it. Then we have social engineering, where we have SIM swapping, and SIM swapping is actually on the rise. I mean, on the continent of Africa, a lot. Some people around me have experienced this even for the past 3 days, and it's something that we have to be aware of. So hackers trick or let's say bribe a mobile carrier into transferring a victim's phone number to a SIM card they control. This then allow them to bypass the two-factor authentications that you think you have set on your device. And so, for example, for somebody to let me speak from a criminal perspective and based on the facts we have on the ground. I know that these are public education, and we are measured as professionals. We are measured in what we bring out to the public, because anyone can be watching us. Criminals can be watching us. Then we have civilians watching us, and so we are somehow measured in what we pour out in terms of in the public. But let me say this: there have been instances where we have people who want to take over your WhatsApp. Okay, and instead of going through the normal channels of, let's say, hacking and all those one, what they do is that they have contact person within the telcos. And what they do is that they call the person within the telco and say there is an SMS that is coming through with the code. Once it hits your end, share it with us. And then that happens and they take over your WhatsApp. So that is the social engineering. That is an example of it. Then again, we have those impersonating. For example, you receive a call from someone claiming to be working for a bank and asking you to validate some sort of information for them to activate or deactivate something on your account. That is them just using an alibi to make sure that you give them the details that matters so they can have your device compromised. Then we have the Bluetooth exploit. The same thing that can be done through SMS phishing, email phishing, can also be done through Bluetooth when you connect with someone else Bluetooth. Malicious softwares or malicious SMS can be shared, and then it can be used to exploit your device as well. I've already spoken about malicious applications where we have uh, uh, malicious apps or softwares being transferred and installed on your phone that transmit data from one end to another without your notice. And that is something that you have to be very cautious with. So, what you take home on this is that for your device to be compromised and for your device to be hacked, first of all, the hacker should have the device in their hand to do that. So, be mindful the people you give it to. The number two, it also means that let's be mindful of certain SMS or messages or email we receive because clicking on them can also compromise our device. Now, let's go to detecting a hack phone. How do you tell if your mobile phone is hacked? It's very difficult with the naked eye, but there are some steps that you can follow to detect if these devices have been hacked. So first of all, you begin to see applications that you have not installed on your phone showcasing. So you haven't installed this particular application, but you are seeing it on your phone. It could be an indication that your phone has been hacked. Then your phone begin to perform slow, so slow performance. You know your phone, you have the best gigahertz, the speed, the memory is solid, but all of a sudden your phone is performing low. It could be an indication that your device could also be compromised. Then you begin to see unusual messages popping up on your phone. It also means, or it could be an indication that your device has also been compromised. The next thing is that you know your phone battery works fine, and then all of a sudden your battery is just running out, your battery is just running down. That is also an indication that your phone could be compromised. And this is happening because there is a software or an application in the background that is transferring data from your device to a different place. And that is why your battery is being drained. But remember, the things we are mentioning is not an automatic indicator. It is you need to compare that maybe for this one, your battery is not damaged, but however, your battery is strong but is draining. It could be an indication. Then we have overheating. When your phone is frequently overheating without heavy usage, it may be an indicator that your device is also compromised. Then you have spike in data usage. You used to use, let's say, for example, 5 gig of data per month. I'm not mentioning the amount, I'm just saying the 5 gig of data per month. Then all of a sudden, you are using 20 gig of data per month for the same things you used to do. It's an indication that your device could be compromised because the rest of the data is being used to transmit and transfer data from your phone into the hackers' side. And so that is something that you should also look into. Then you begin to see strange pop-ups on your phone. When you see that, that is also an indication that your device could also be compromised. Then other things to look out for is unauthorized access notifications from applications you have not installed. And then you have this is the one that everybody wants to hear, which is the background noise during phone calls. Sometimes you're on a phone call and you hear voices that is not the person you are speaking to voice. In fact, those ones, it could be network glitches, or it could be that indeed your device has been tapped and someone else is listening to your phone calls during those times. And then unusual activities on your linked account. So if you have accounts, social media handles, your bank accounts, and all those ones linked to your phone, and you begin to see unusual activity on them, it tells you that someone else is dropping on you. From there, now let's move to how to restore your hacked phone. The first thing you should do if you notice that your mobile phone has been compromised is that you have to disconnect it from the internet. The only way the hackers or the cyber criminals are listening to you is because you have internet on your phone. And so the first thing to do is disconnect the internet. That would help you to calm down. Then the next thing you should do is to run a security scan. And so you can use either one of the popular uh, antivirus applications like Avast, Kaspersky, run a thorough scan, security scan on your device. If there are any malicious softwares on your device, they will be able to pick them up. You can delete them, and then you are good to go from there. Another thing you can also do in restoring your hacked mobile phone is to delete suspicious applications. For example, if you see applications on your phone that you know you didn't install, it is important that you identify them and then clear them. Remember, I mentioned that there are some of these malicious applications that may appear to be legitimate apps. For example, some will take the shape of WhatsApp, or maybe a known application like calculator or calendar. You need to make sure that you don't have double of such things on your phone. Once you identify that you do have double of such things, it's important to identify the fake one, and then you clear them from your device. Then the last thing to do, if all the other three we've mentioned fail, is that you have to do what we call a factory reset on your phone. To do a factory reset, first of all, you have to go to settings. So when you go to settings, if you are using iOS, you go to settings. Once you get to settings, you see factory reset. It allows you to reset your phone completely. Resetting your phones means that you are clearing everything from your phone. So your phone reset back to the original state it was when you first purchased it. And so, if you have any important document or information on your phone, it's very important to do a backup before you factory reset your phone, because factory resetting clears everything on your phone. And then you can say that, okay, now your device is okay, and make sure that you safeguard it, and make sure that you update your softwares. I know sometimes it's expensive to always update softwares, especially those who are using iOS, but it's always important to safeguard yourself against some of these threats. It's important that you always update your software. Now, let's talk about how you protect yourself from hackers. So, we don't want you, as a citizen of the continent of Africa, to wait for your device to be hacked. We want you to prevent it before it actually happens. So, how do you do that? One of the things you do is to make sure you don't download unknown applications. Just because somebody mentions that you can use this app to change your leg to be longer, or you can use this app to enhance your image to look more handsome and more beautiful, there you go, and you are off to download it. Sometimes we must be able to tell the source of these and validate if they are good or not reliable. And so you realize that there are some applications, if you're installing on your phone, they ask you to give them access to your camera, access to your contact, access to these, access to that, access to your locations. Why? Meanwhile, what that application does is just a calculator. Why does it need access to my location? Why does it need access to my contact? Why does it need access to other things on my phone. It tells you that there are so many things that happens behind the scenes that you do not know of. So be mindful of downloading unknown applications, and then regularly make sure you update your phone. I think we have already touched on that. Then use strong passwords. Use strong passwords. The era where you use your date of birth is easy. Somebody gets your date of birth is able to do that. The era where we use common things as our passwords, it's over. Run some combination with numbers, with uppercase, lowercase, and have a different sort of combination to make it strong. But one of the things I would also will recommend is the use of the two-factor authentication. I would also actually recommend, because of the things I have seen in recent times, where even if you use your phone, as in they sending you SMS as a two-factor authentication, I've seen moments where it is easier for people to break through. And so, in my recommendation, I'll say go rather for the Microsoft Authenticator or the Google Authenticator. These ones, whether you have internet or you don't have internet, nobody can bypass them. You would have to log in there yourself to, because it generates a code that expires within a matter of 60 seconds or 30 seconds. And so that is a stronger one compared to using your phone as a two-factor authenticator. Sorry, your phone number as a two-factor authenticator, or your email address as a two-factor authenticator. The reason being that if your phone number is compromised, if your email is compromised, it means they will have access to literally all your accounts on the phone. Then be cautious of using public Wi-Fi. For those of you who travel a lot, I'm going to share my way of doing it, because once you travel from one country to another country, what happens is that maybe you do not have the SIM card in that country, but you have loved ones. You need to communicate with them where you are, and then you are safe, and you know they will be worried about you. And then here you are, I am telling you to be cautious, not using public Wi-Fi, but there's a way you can do it. So what I do is that once I move to a different country and I don't have a Wi-Fi, and at the airport there are free Wi-Fi's that I can, I mean, mine a little bit. This is what I do. If I intend to send a message to my loved one, what I do is that I quickly will go to WhatsApp, do a voice note, or type the messages I want, and then I'll connect to the Wi-Fi just for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Once I'm connected to the Wi-Fi and I see that the messages goes through, I disconnect the Wi-Fi. In that way, it is difficult for the hacker to do whatever they want to do in penetrating my system. You usually will need a lot of time to be able to penetrate your system. So if you connect to a public Wi-Fi that you don't trust for about 5 minutes, you can disconnect and then reconnect again. In this way, it makes it a bit difficult for them. And then regularly make sure you check the other things. And then to wrap up my presentation, we're looking at Pegasus and the cyber intelligence system. In fact, Pegasus is a highly sophisticated cyberware developed by an Israeli company called the NSO Group. That is what the world knows. But unfortunately, there are other cyber intelligence devices that are even much more popular, much more effective in today's world than even Pegasus. As I'm speaking to you, I think WhatsApp is in court with Pegasus. What does Pegasus do? Pegasus do not need to access your phone or to physically hold your phone, or they don't need any of those things. If you have Pegasus, all I need is your phone number. And with your phone number, your phone is hacked. Whatever I want to access on your device, I will do that. If I want to watch your videos, I'll do it. If I want to take a picture, I will do it. If I want to take a video, I'll do it. If your phone is off, I want to turn it on, I will do it. Um, if I want to on your microphone to just listen to your environment, I'll do it. That is what Pegasus is able to do. It does not matter if you have locks on your phone. So these cyber intelligence system are there for government to utilize and other organizations to utilize. The point here is that that's the good news. The good news is that these devices are not sold to private individuals, but it's usually sold to government and then other dedicated organizations. For example, for Pegasus, we can talk about few countries in Africa or in the world that have procured the Pegasus device. For example, we are aware that a country like Morocco has procured the Pegasus device. A country like Rwanda, Togo, Zambia, of course, Ghana also procured its device somewhere in 2016. And so the device is still around as to, but the question is that there have been reports of it's being misused because the Pegasus device was procured for a specific purpose to eavesdrop. Let me put it this way, it was procured for the purpose of national security, and for that matter, it must be used so for. But currently, there have been a lot of rumors and speculations where we have governments around the world using such device to mount surveillance on activists, journalists, and other politicians. We also have indications that governments around the world are using such devices to collect sensitive personal data of certain significant people within our community. And then again, the Pegasus device or the cyber intelligence devices allows such owners to track locations and movement of whoever they want to. And these are key major concerns that has been raised by the use of these devices. But this is what I always say: unless you're a threat to national security, these devices will not be used on you. But if you're a threat to national security, then stop being a threat. Another thing I would also want to say is that when it comes to Pegasus device, unlike the initial ones we discussed, there is no coming back. There is no way to restore a hacked device if you are using Pegasus or any of the cyber intelligence equipment. The only best advice I can give with respect to that is when you throw away your phone, because as long as it uses your SIM number, so as long as these people know your SIM number, they are going to come after you. And so let the reason why we're having this education is not to arm you criminals, but rather it to educate the public to be mindful of the things you say in public or the things you write in private, because you can also be eavesdropped on. Uh, there are cyber security concerns regarding the use of these cyber technologies, which our experts will also dive into. Me, as the host, I will be answering the questions. Some of the cyber security concern is that the acquisition of such powerful surveillance tools like Pegasus by African government have raised significant concerns about human rights, digital privacy, and the potential for the abuse of these devices. They will tell us how relevant this is. And then international scrutiny. We have the use of Pegasus by these countries has been the subject of intense international scrutiny and criticizing, leading to calls for greater transparency and accountability in the sale and deployment of such cyber intelligence devices. This brings me to the end of my presentation and how to mitigate the threat posed by cyber intelligence devices like Pegasus. The best advice is always update your software, encrypt and secure communication. If you have the means, there are mobile phones that are encrypted, secure. You can always get in touch with Doyen Institute. They'll get you one. If you have the means, of course, you need to pay. Then increase transparency and accountancy from the government side. On that note, I bring my presentation to an end, and now I hand over, or I go straight to my panelists, my guests that are already in the show. Once again, I welcome you, Mr. Gabriel Ametame. He's a cybersecurity specialist. And then again, Ms. Temi from Nigeria. She is a cybersecurity advocate, as well as a cybersecurity engineer. Without wasting time, you are welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, George.
Mr. Gabriel, I'll
Thank you
start
for
with
having me.
you're welcome. Mr. Gabriel, I'll start with you. What is
Yeah.
on the issue of phone hacking? You have been working within the law enforcement system for a lot of years now. You have specifically worked within the cybersecurity space. So I'm speaking practically and theoretically. You have gained a lot of knowledge in this field. My question is, how often does this happen from your experience?
Thank you, George, for this very important question. And my greetings to all our guests who are listening to us across Africa and all over the world. And I want to say that this phenomenon, as you describe, is rightly so. I think that even these days, I think even if you take 9 out of 10 Ghanaians, each of them should be able to tell you about the incident of somebody's phone, WhatsApp, or email being hacked, or the incident of somebody's account being compromised, and all that. So it is very, very rampant these days, and I believe that a lot of reports come to the police every time. I'm not able to give these details because officially I'm not here to speak to that side of it, because these are purely police issues. But then, personally speaking, I believe that it is very rampant in our society, and then people are being hacked every single day, and so there's the need for each and every one of us to secure our phones and our devices that are connected to the internet. So that is how it is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gabriel. Mr. May, let me bring you in. Give us the perspective from Nigeria. Nigeria is, we all know Nigeria. Give us the Nigerian perspective.
Thank you for this opportunity to just share a little bit of insight. So let me just tell you from personal experience and some of the things that are around me. So when it comes to phone hacking in I would say my country, and I'm very sure some people can agree to it, with the amount of rate of hacking, I felt like a focus, if an attacker is trying to reach out to you, they like kind of like focus on vision, like phone calls, text messages, posing as like imposing, like posing as a like a bank or your network provider. So, and the rate of this is kind of a bit high because I can say for personal experience, I've gotten a call or like a text message telling me that, oh, I win a lottery that I know fully well that I never played any game or registered for anything, but including my family members, like, okay, one of them or two has like gotten at least one message or the other coming from their bags and saying that, oh, Mr. My name is Mr. This, Mr. That, and oh, we need some verification on your account just for how I say personal information to be divulged. And this is kind of like being, how would I say, kind of like a concern, honestly, because every day and area, if good guys are coming out, the bad guys are also working. So it's more like everything is now trying to get balanced to one way or the other. So in my area or like my country, I would say in terms of data being released or like data being manipulated, I think when it comes to social engineering, I think in terms of social engineering, vision is kind of a little bit higher. In my whole, let me know. I'm not giving you statistics, but I'll tell you so that
Okay.
people reach out to people like you get. Do you understand?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. A follow-up one.
George, if I may come in, George,
Yes.
I think that this is because social engineering is the easiest way for any hacker to get information from a victim. So I think it is the reason why social engineering, for example, is on the ascendancy. It comprises phishing and other methods that are used, phone calls, where emails are used, and all these are used to convince you, the victim, to pass information to the hacker. And I believe that our listeners, if they will testify that most of them will have received, or they belong to WhatsApp groups that they might have seen some links flying around with saying that maybe government of Ghana or so and so company is sharing this data or is sharing this money, and just click on this link so that you can win this and that. And I believe that most people have seen it. But it is one of the main ways that hackers are able to get this information that they use eventually to hack the victim. So I will say that most of the hacking that take place are from we selling our giving our data to these people for them to use against us. And it is the reason why everyone has to be very careful when you are clicking on links or you are responding to emails that you have not solicited, you have not signed up, subscribed for. You should be very wary if you receive a mail in your inbox, which you know you are very confident that you have not subscribed to that email. And you should be wary, and then be wary when you type or when you click on these links. One thing I want to add is that most people have seen when you see HTTP without an S, they say this is a phishing link. But the fact remains that we have link shortness that can also be used to hide these links and make them look HTTPS, but in reality they are phishing links. So don't say because it is HTTPS it means that it is secured and so it is safe. It is not so. Thank you so much.
Thank you. A quick follow-up. Looking at the data we currently have, respect to the number of devices that is being hacked year in, year out, it is 2024, and already we have about 2.8 million devices that has been hacked on the continent of Africa. So looking at the threat and these data, I want to ask a specific question. How can individuals and organizations stay ahead of these emerging threats? Miss Temi.
Okay, so one thing I would say is that to balance this equation, not like fully, we it falls down to ourselves because we all have a role to play when it comes to security as an individual. Because I'll say something before it goes to an organization, me as an individual, what are the precautions I'm taking when it comes to my device, when it comes to from my phone to my laptops to my IoT devices, what are the precautions I'm taking? Because I understand fully well that every one of us has a role to play when it comes to security. You want to know fully well, like the discussion, the first question was saying about phishing links. You want to know fully well that because when it comes to social engineering as well, emotion is being like targeted because when you don't fully well that this person is at the edge of like being in a hurry and stuff like that. So creating a cybersecurity awareness should not be limited to a place, not to just a workplace. It should go across all region. Your workplace, your church, your mosque, your family. So I feel like it begins with us because human error is, I think that's the greatest attack I would say, human error, because most of the time it all falls down to human interaction. So I felt like it all falls down from us as well. So if it started from me and I know the role I'm trying to play when it comes to security, that's where mitigation comes first. That's where prevention starts from. If you understand me fully.
Thank you very much. Mr. Gabriel, uh, what
Yes.
advice would you give to someone who frequently uses a public Wi-Fi? Are there any specific tools or applications they can use to enhance their security in this environment of cyber threats?
Yes. Thank you. So, if you ask me, I will advise people who use public Wi-Fi most of the time that they should be wary of the things that they do on this public Wi-Fi. I know that most people they see data as expensive, and so if they have access to public Wi-Fi, they are happy and they just want to do whatever they have to do before they leave those places. So it is also the reason why we need to advise them that if you have a free Wi-Fi that is maybe public, or you at the cafe, at the restaurant you go and the Wi-Fi is open, you can just connect and they start using it. Understand that we are not saying that these organizations are the ones going to hack you, but we are saying that the same way it is open, it is the same way cyber criminals can also connect to the same Wi-Fi, and then based on the connection, they are able to hack into your phone or into your laptop. It is for this reason that you should be careful the kind of transactions that you do on this public Wi-Fi. You don't have to maybe visit your bank website. You may not have to log into sensitive website that you know that when the data on those sites are compromised, it could go to affect you, maybe your finances or maybe your family life. Should be careful and wary of such site. And so also you could use VPN to establish an encrypted tunnel between your device and then the website or the server that you are trying to access. So we could some VPNs could be installed on your device to ensure that your network or your connection is encrypted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think a comment from one of our viewers on Facebook by name Atu Samuel. He said, how do we control these hacking situations? I think that we have answered how to control some of these hacking. And then, like Mr. Gabriel mentioned, it's important to always make sure you install, first of all, antiviruses. We are always visited on installing antivirus softwares on our laptops forgetting that we need the same thing on our mobile phones. And so it is also important that you make sure you install antivirus on your mobile phone. They are able to detect some of these things and then clear them before it even gets to you. Invest in antivirus applications, and that would help. If there are any other apps, Timmy from Nigeria, if are there any other apps you may want to suggest to our listeners aside the use of the VPN and the security antivirus apps?
Okay, thank you. So one thing I want to emphasize on is updates. Because the nurse, I'm very sure that most people think when they see an update pop up on their phones, it's just oh, a new features. It comes with a new features. No, what I would say is it goes beyond new features because when an organization is pushing a new update or and have developers telling you try to update your application to a newer version, this is telling you that there might be one or two vulnerabilities. I'm very sure, or that is being attached to the previous one, but the next one it's an upgrade. So it might be like, okay, Apache 2.3 is vulnerable to certain amount of attacks, but in the next version, it's been upgraded, it's been patched already. So I would say that I really do not have like a tool to recommend, but I would say to you, update your phone, check your like, update frequently. When an update comes, fine, you might not have storage based on like maybe some of things on your phone, but updates. Make sure
Okay.
you update, get antivirus. I think that's going to be another form of security when it comes to your phone.
Thank you very much. There's a question from
George,
YouTube, and it's by Michael Suriba Kamara. Michael wants to know, how do you identify a fake Wi-Fi? How do you know this Wi-Fi is fake?
uh, so if I want to answer that question,
Yes,
before
yes.
before I answer that question, I want to also add to what Temi just said about how we can stop hacking of our devices. By somebody asked that question. The fact is that we are not able to stop hacking 100%. It's not something that you can, because as you are using systems or apps to protect your device, the same way these systems or applications are also what developed by people, and then because it's developed by people, there could be loopholes or backdoors or rootkits that could be used later on to access the devices. So there's no foolproof here that can say 100% that you can stop hacking, but you can put in the measures to ensure that you are not hacked. And so, as that some of the things you mentioned earlier is that we should avoid visiting untrusted websites. Okay, and also we should not just, because that's something called drive-by downloads, where you visit a website and then the website automatically download a certain application on your phone. So just be wary. Also, when you are accepting, you are giving permissions to your applications that you download to use. Like as you rightly said, imagine you download a calculator and then calculator is asking permission to access your microphone, access your camera. You should be wary of giving access to that device, that apps in that order. And also, as Temi mentioned rightly, most people, since they bought their phones, they've not been able to update the operating system of the phone. So understand that when you buy phones, usually the company that manufactured the phone, they used to update the OS. So go to the phone, the settings, look for the OS update and update it. Most people don't know that, and so you have their phone running on old versions of OS, whilst the manufacturer has already updated, identified the loopholes in the system, and then brought the patches or brought the update. So understand that devices are not, they are made to, the softwares are made to be enhanced. And so when the enhancement comes, ensure that you're able to download them and then install them. And so to be able to spot how a fake Wi-Fi, I cannot know how I will tell you what Wi-Fi is fake or not. But once the Wi-Fi doesn't belong to you, it is not for you. Why do you want to connect to something that does not belong to you? It's somebody's network, and once you connect to that, you are exposing yourself. So ensure that the Wi-Fi you're connecting to, you know it, you know who owns it, or probably it is for your organization or company. Before you connect to it, once you spot a free Wi-Fi that is open for connection, know that there could be a decoy to, or a rogue access point, which will eventually be used to hack your phone. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Mr. Michael again is asking, is SIM swapping not a serious crime for mobile care? It is actually. And so for countries like Ghana, we've had to arrest a lot of people in the past for SIM swapping. But again, these people do it covertly without we able to identify them. It is a serious crime, not just in Ghana, but in literally all the countries in the world. A question is coming from a fee. How can you know that a VPN you downloaded can be used to hack your phone? I'm not sure you will be able to tell. That's why it's always important that when you are downloading any sort of application, because VPN is also an application, when you are utilizing them, make sure that you trust, first of all, you validate. There are some known antiviruses software that you know you can always rely on. There are other antivirus softwares that you know that they themselves are there to mine data from your device. And so that's why it's always important that whatever application you are downloading for whatever purpose, it's something you can trust. If you know you don't trust the application, then limit the number of access you give to them. So if the application is asking you to give them access to your location, that and that, and you know you do not trust, then limit, restrict those application, those access, and so that you are protected in a way. If you are just using the VPN to navigate your location, that is fine enough. But always make sure that you limit the access you give to some of these things and only give access when you want to use it and then disable. That's what I can say. Then we have our brother again, Michael. Does Pegasus work only on analog phones or smartphone? Now, I'll speak to you from a practical perspective. Yeah, Pegasus or cyber intelligence software analog and then non-analog phone. So both the smartphones we are using and then analog phones, these cyber intelligence system work on them. And I'm speaking from a practical perspective. I may not be able to give you details, but it works on all devices. But again, there are ways you can mitigate these threats, and the ways to mitigate these threats are very expensive. If you are in, let's say, in a position of power where you want to secure and encrypt your conversations, there are ways you can do that by upgrading. But that one, if you need any of those services, you can either contact your service provider or get in touch with Doyen Institute, and we can help secure you one of such devices for secure communication. But Pegasus, I don't want to limit the conversation only on Pegasus because there are about 7 other cyber intelligence systems that is not even heard of, but they are operating, and it's only Pegasus that is being attacked. Then the next question is: Do national privacy law work in African countries? The answer should be yes. Can you let me know about the Nigeria, Ghana, and other African countries? So let's start from Nigeria because they always claim they are the largest in Africa. So I know national privacy law works in all countries, but let's hear from the Nigeria perspective. Then we come to the Ghanaian perspective. So, Ms. Temi, does privacy laws, the national privacy law works in Nigeria? Has it been enforced in Nigeria? Has there been any arrest and then prosecution of such in Nigeria that you know of?
Okay, I don't want to be biased, but honest.
Okay.
Yes, we have privacy laws. We have in the BRs, we have laws, but I won't say it's enforced, but I can't guarantee that it's 100% used. Honestly, I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be biased. So I wouldn't say it's 100% used because with the rate of fraud happening in this
Okay.
region is massive. So there is, but I can't speak to for other countries. There is, but I'm not really sure people take it serious as much as it is because when it comes to cybercrime, it's a very, very big deal in other countries. But I would say I just have a little to say honestly.
Okay. So I think, Mr. Gabriel, would you want to do the Ghanaian perspective just under 1 minute? Uh, Before you
Yeah,
come in,
I
let
think
me be quick. Before you come in, let me be quick to for those of you who are watching us live on Facebook and YouTube, you can leave your questions under the comment section, and we'll have it addressed quickly. Then let me say, already I see Mr. Bashiru, you are watching us live from the Bono region. We have Amafi watching us from Pokuasi, Atu Samuel. Then I see Ohininana Afaridebra, then Michael as well. Let us know where you are watching us from. And then let me also give a special appreciation to those of you who are also watching us on Facebook. Um, Ford from Zambia, Ahantime Apimini from Apimini Ba from I think Accra, then Ohina Nadebra, Bafo Ejima, Basiru are all joining us from Accra. And then we have other people, if Afi Edem, Atu Samuel, Mami Ikia Adipa as well, joining us from the other regions of Ghana. So, from the Ghanaian perspective, and we should do this under a minute. Privacy laws, does it work?
yes, privacy laws work in the countries that the questioner mentioned, but I think what the problem is the lack of public education to let people know or be aware of some of these things, and having an independent oversight over some of these things is what is lacking, and then therefore people are not in the know of what is happening in terms of privacy protection and all that. So there are laws and legal frameworks that you're supposed to adhere to. So that is it from the Ghanaian's perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. And since I'm from Dubai, let me take it from the UAE perspective. Even as I speak to you, I don't know if that case has been resolved now, but the Prince of Dubai, it was alleged that he was using Pegasus, one of the cyber intelligence system, to spy on the wife when they are almost divorcing. And so that case has actually been sent to court. So yes, privacy law works in literally all countries, but most often in Africa, uh, the the powerful always suppress the less powerful, and so therefore even if the powerful Israel and break these laws, it's difficult for the less powerful to act. But in other jurisdictions, if I am taking my shower and you peep through, you have invaded my privacy, and I can take you on for it. So we have Michael was actually joining us from Sierra Leone. So greetings to the people of Sierra Leone. Then we have Black and Beauty. His name is Isian. Is watching us from Canada. And then we have Area Mabui also watching us from Accra. And these are people that have joined us live on YouTube and then Facebook. Our time is almost up until we have 2 more minutes to wrap the show up. It's just a 1 hour show. Let me say that the show, the Security Awareness Forum, would always be live on Saturday, 17 hours GMT. Each week will come with a new topic. Next week we'll be focusing on cybersecurity threats, but this time around on sextortion and online blackmailing. And so sextortion and online blackmailing. We're likely to have an expert from the Cybersecurity Authority Ghana. We're hoping to do same from for South Sudan as well to join the show. And then we have one of our main guests in the person of Gabriel also joining us on that particular one, as well as Timmy. They are going to give us their perspective as well. Then the following week, we'll also have a different topic for discussion. And we are going to be doing this till we arm the citizens of Africa with enough information to keep themselves safe against criminals on the continent. And then before we wrap up, finally, I want to say a big thank you to the two guests that have joined us in the person of Mr. Gabriel Amitame, a Ghanaian and a cybersecurity specialist, as well as Ms. Temi. Uh, Her name is heavy though, but let me try to pronounce it. Miss Temitope Pankole. She is from Nigeria. She is a cyber security engineer, and then she is also a cyber security advocate. On this note, we also want to say special thanks to all of you who took time out of your busy schedule to join our first edition of the Security Awareness Forum. If you have any additional question you want to post to us, kindly leave it under the comment section, and we would answer them. Please share and let your friends, loved ones, colleagues get to have these information as well. Remember that safety is a shared responsibility. And then as long as you are the only informed person and the next person to you is not informed on how to protect himself or herself against these things, it means you are still vulnerable. So in order to keep the community safe, like we're doing, it's important that whatever information you have received, you share with your loved ones and those around you, because together we can create a more secure environment. So till we meet again next week, do take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Thank you.